What's up, YouTube? So I got asked, what was YouTube's peak and prime? Obviously, the Joshua Tree, which I still I did like the album. I don't think it should have been album of the year at the Grammys though. How did they beat peak and prime Michael Jackson, Prince, and Whitney Houston? I'll never know. Yeah, it's interesting when when I think about all that. Um, but it was a good album. With or Without You was a cold song. They had the Rowling Home, which came out in '88, and Zootopia. They had a good run. I'd say from '87 to about '92, '93. They had debuted '83, '84, but it was really around '87 when that thing hit and that peak and prime. Now they've had other hits, you know. They had other hits and they still had hits up until like 20 plus years ago. But it was that particular era where that was what I'd call their prime and they peaked. That was when U2 could almost do no wrong for what they were doing. Um, I wasn't the biggest fan of theirs because I thought musically they weren't the deepest, most introspective type of musicianship I had heard, but I liked the songs. Bono got a lot of love though as a songwriter. He had some all right songs. I mean, he decent vocalist, nothing that I get ecstatic about, you know. Uh, People want to come at me and say, well, the Irishman and Blow. I said, well, is he Van Morrison? Wake me when he does a brown eyed girl. Wake me when he can hit you like Van Morrison can, because it wasn't Van Morrison. I'm just gonna keep it 100 before people come at and say, "Well, what about this and what about that?" They were, I will say this, they were Coldplay's daddy. So people who be bragging about Coldplay, well, I always said that Coldplay to me was nothing but a double Junior Whopper broke version of U2. That's how I listened at them. That's how I felt about them. I mean, Chris Martin is basically a broke double Junior Whopper Bono with less personality. Sold him more though. Bono had personality though. Bono definitely got himself around, did vocal parts, and had moments. But I mean, it's the styling, it's the vibe of it. Uh, they and like I said before, they had a good run. They had a good run. I mean, I wasn't, never been blown away by U2 catchiness in some spots, but um, they did come out with a record or two that I like, and they had some decent production, but I wasn't, again, the musicianship and the stylings, I wasn't like sitting around going, ooh, U2, now. Now. I still remember when George Bush, the father, the oldest one, he tried to name drop him and then he got them mixed up with Boy George. And I said, man, you see, when you're out of touch, you either get your groups and your acts mixed up. But I thought that, they had some songs that I liked. I mean, I thought they had their production was catchy and Bono's voice worked. So they had some things that worked for him. But I never got like the big hoopla and the hype about them. I never got like that. But I do remember their prime and peak very well because, you know, grew up around that time period and of course listened to their records and then of course they had the hype with the tours and so on and so forth. Um I think they had one song called Harlem Blues. There was a tribute to Billie Holiday, which I like. I think that was on an '88 album. I like I said, um, I like some songs they done, some things. I think there was a niche, it was a lane for it though. So anyway, U2 had an impact or whatnot for that particular time, their musical peak and prime, if I will. So they still been having hits and stuff, but they were really on it at that particular point. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and your takes about U2's peak and prime. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Hit the membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.